MMA Dawgs say you got money on them, say if you know who go win, say MMA Dawgs say you got money on them, say if you know who go win, say MMA capacity crowd.
Welcome, my MMA dog family. Now, for my dog and I, we want to thank you guys, a special thank you for our first pay per event here. So, our betting strategy. So we're really excited about it. We're, just really looking forward to it. And we're real thankful that you guys were the first ones to purchase this pay per event. And we're going to bring you guys winning picks. And we're really looking forward to sharing this with you guys. So, right off the bat, a couple of things I want to go over. Just to be safe, just to get it out of the way. That way we can just relax and give our advice here and really talk about what's going to happen on Saturday night. So, first thing. So we have viewers worldwide, and we appreciate it. We love that. For the viewers that are in the United States, just be careful of where you bet. You always want to make sure that you follow the law. So you want to make sure that, if you're, like for us, for example, we're in San Diego. So we're real close to Vegas. We can take that drive out. It only takes 4 hours, 5 hours. We're in Vegas. We can place our bets. No worries. Or we can go down, 15 minutes down south of the border here, and we can place our bets there. So just make sure you know what your options are as far as betting goes. So just make sure it's legit, legal, and that way you don't have anything to worry about. Second thing is make sure that you budget yourself a certain amount of money, whether you want to do, like long term or you want to do per event. You budget yourself a certain amount per event. However you want to do it is fine. Just make sure you budget yourself a certain amount of money, so that if you do lose, if you have a losing week, or if anything happens to it, you can, you won't be out of your bill money or your this money or that money. Just make sure it's something that you budget yourself for. Even if it means, hey, you know what? I don't bet for 6 months, but 6 months from now I'll start to bet because I have so much saved up. Or, I don't bet for however long it takes. But just make sure you have a budget, and that's what my dog and I recommend. So now we got those two things out of the way. Let's dive straight into it. So, just to recap real quickly here. UFC Fight Night 26. We have a stacked card. I mean, this card is just stacked from top to bottom. I mean, in my opinion, I wish they would have had this fight card in Vegas, so that I could be out there in a few hours and watch that. And but it's in Boston for Fox Sports 1. That's great. The Boston people, they deserve to have something like this to distract them and have a good time. And it's just a win-win for everybody. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. I just really can't wait for this one. And let's dive straight into it. So, as you guys know, 5 stars, that's like the most confidence, right? That's like, what? If there was ever such a thing as Bet the Farm, dog, what do I say? Bet the farm on it. My dog and I joke around about it, of course, but just that Bet the Farm, you just bet it all. I mean, just put it all down on this. So that's 5-star pick. 4-star picks are also very confident picks. So those are picks those plays are medium to large. They're also parlay worthy. And then 3-star picks, those are small to medium plays, and those I generally do not parlay. So I don't parlay those because they're closer. The odds are closer. The opponents are a little closer. So those are do not parlay. And then, of course, I'll cover all the other fights in case there's particular fighters that you're looking at or that interest you, or that perhaps you just need a little different spin on it, or whatever the reason may be. So let's dive right into it, dog. What do you say? Let's dive right into it.
Yeah, let's dive right on into it.
So Saturday night, my first betting pick It is a 4-star pick, so medium to large play, parlay worthy. And dog, let's get a little drum roll here. What do we have? We have Diego Brandao. Now, Diego Brandao currently sits at around minus 250. As low as minus 250. Some spots have him around minus 285. So they're giving him a 71 to 74% chance of winning. I capped this fight out. I capped him at minus 400. So that gives him an 80% chance of winning. And for this particular pick, I'm going to bet both straight. So just a straight bet on Brandao. And then also Brandao inside the distance. Brandao has a great opportunity here to finish by submission. And he's got power. This guy has power, 8 limbs. He's got like the hand, he's got the punches, the elbows, the knees, and of course the kicks. So, he's got it all. So he can win by submission, he'll win by knockout. So what I'm personally going to do, and I'll shoot you guys an example of what you guys can do for your betting strategy amounts and how I like to divide stuff up. But I like to bet both straight for Brandao. So 70% of my bet of the money I put on Brandao will be a straight bet, and then around 30% of it will be inside the distance, because inside the distance will cover a knockout or a submission. So that's what I'm going to do there. Now, why Brandao? Why is Brandao my most confident? The pick that I just feel the most, the best, the most about. And the reason why is because before he fought Pablo Garza, and even right now, Diego Brandao, most people you talk to, or most people you hear talking about Diego Brandao, they'll say, oh, he's good, but he's gonna gas, and he's good, but he's a loose cannon. He's good, but he's unpredictable. And in my opinion, that's not the case anymore. Now we know he's a Greg Jackson fighter, and Greg Jackson is really good at building up the strategy, telling these guys, hey, this is what you need to do when you get in there. This is how you're gonna go about it. Just building them up mentally. And in the Pablo Garza fight, he displayed a lot of patience to me. And, I see that growth. I see that growth in Diego Brandao. And I have a lot of faith here that he's going to go right through his opponent here. And one thing about Diego Brandao that I really like is he's got those fast twitch muscle fibers. So he's got a lot of power. And when you get a guy like that, if you can coach him to be patient, that's what allows those awesome finishes where the fighter can time it, he can get the distance, he can get the takedown, and really, really, take advantage of all the attributes he has. And that's what Diego Brandao has shown me, and that's a track that he's on. So Daniel Pineda, he's going to be in a world of hurt on Saturday, and we're going to be cashing this out, baby. We're going to be happy as can be, and that's the first play. So, second play of the night. Who do we have coming up for the second play of the night? Dog, let's get a little drum roll here. We got Conor McGregor. Now, Conor McGregor currently sits around minus 280. Some spots have him around minus 300. Minus 280, that's about a 73% chance of winning. I capped him out at minus 400 also, so that's about 80% chance there. And for this one, very similar. Conor McGregor, straight. And then also Conor McGregor by knockout TKO. So that's how I am going to personally do it. 70% of my money on McGregor will be in a straight bet. And then 30% of it will be knockout TKO. You can do it however you feel most comfortable doing it. If you feel like you want to risk more of your money on the knockout, then do 50-50 or however you want. But that's the example that I'm going to send you guys. And now, what's so special about Conor McGregor? The number one thing that I like about Conor McGregor is when he's got the fight, when he's standing, when he's striking, his timing and his distance is unbelievable. I mean, it is excellent. Now, let's not get too hyped the hooch up about him. He is very, very good. Very, very good. But he's not, and in my opinion, if they put him up against Jose Aldo, or somebody, those top like 3 guys, top guys, he might not, especially a stylistic matchup, it depends. But with that being said, against Max Holloway, that's a good matchup for Conor McGregor. He doesn't have to worry about being taken down. Max Holloway's not going to take him down. He doesn't have to be worried about getting knocked out. Holloway is more like a Nate Diaz style. Nick Diaz kind of pitter-patter punches, which are effective and they're good. And he might throw, a body shot or something like that might land on some schmuck, Justin Lawrence. But he's not really somebody who we have to worry about against Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor's got a chin on him. And like I said, Conor McGregor's timing, his distance, his power, he's got that chin. Everything here is set up for Conor McGregor to have a great fight. And then the other thing about McGregor that I really like is his attitude. His attitude, his mentality, his just love of the sport. That's what landed him that Vegas trip with Dana. They're driving down the strip on the Ferrari. They're having Kobe steak, $300 Kobe steak. So, Dana's impressed by him, and Conor McGregor really, he's in a position where he really wants to succeed and really please his employers. So I expect him to go out there and get the knockout first round. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, I wish the fight would have stayed up against the little axe Andy Ogle, because that was a 5-star pick. He was sitting around minus 500, but that was 5 stars. But nonetheless, against Max Holloway, 4 stars. And then for the next pick here, another 4-star pick. What do we got, Doc? We have Boston's own Joe Lauzon. And he's currently sitting only at about minus 250. Some spots might have him a little bit higher. But that's about a 71% chance of winning. I capped him out at minus 300. So 75% chance. And honestly, it could be a little higher, and that would still be good. With this one, very similar to the other ones. 70% of my bet is going to be on it straight. And 30%. And I might go a little higher, will be on it by inside the distance. The reason I say inside the distance is because, yes, he will more than likely win by submission. But Michael Johnson, he gets caught up in all kinds of situations. And Joe Lauzon's been working real hard in his stand-up. So there could be a possibility here. Lauzon gets him to the ground, hits him a couple times in the chin, in the side of the head, and he wins by TKO or knockout. So I'd rather play it safe inside the distance. Now, like I said, Lauzon will probably win by submission. He's got 6 submission of the nights, and he's going to make it 7, which is perfect because Michael Johnson has 6 losses by submission, and this is going to be a 7th. So, it's just Johnson, he's okay, but, very inconsistent. This will be his 3rd loss. He'll be cut from the UFC, and that's it. And that's that. I feel very confident in Joe Lauzon. That wraps up my 4-star picks. 3 of them, Diego Brandao, Conor McGregor, Joe Lauzon, all parlay worthy. So you could do a round robin on them. You could do Brandao with McGregor, Brandao with Lauzon, and Lauzon with McGregor. Do something like that if you'd like. And then now let's move on to the 3 stars. So there's a couple of 3-star ones that I time, research, interviews, the weigh-ins. I mean, just a whole lot of stuff. Watching all the footage and all the fights. So let's get a little drum roll here, dog, for 3 stars. So we have Michael McDonald. Now, Michael McDonald currently sits at around minus 210. That gives him a 67% chance of winning. And I capped him out at minus 170, which gives him a 63% chance of winning. Very close. They're still very close together. And with this particular fight, this is one of those ones that is tough. It's tough because Brad Pickett is one of my favorite fighters. But as I've told you guys before, especially if you've watched the videos, and I'm sure you guys have, thank you guys for this pay-per event that we're doing here, our first one. when you're predicting fights, you have to put aside your favorite fighters. So Brad Pickett may be one of my favorite fighters, but you know what? I see in that Mike Easton fight, I just in the Eddie Wineland fight, I just see Brad Pickett.
And the Browne fight.
For
Brad Pickett.
For Brad Pickett?
Yeah.
In the Browne fight? What did you see in the Browne fight?
He got taken apart on the feet and then got taken down.
Yeah, but most recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most recently, his most recent fights, I see the progression there where he's getting up in age, and he's just like, to me, he's just on that last limb. He's like hanging on to that last limb, and it's only a matter of time before he faces somebody who can crack that chin. And you guys can go back and watch those fights, and what you'll see is that he's getting hit a lot. And yes, he's got a good chin, but we've seen in the past how many times the guy's chin have to get tested before it cracks. And a guy like Michael McDonald, he just throws laser punches out there. His striking is really good, and all it takes is one of those punches to rock Pickett, and we've seen that recently. I mean, to me, that Mike Easton fight, Mike Easton to me is a moron. That guy, he's not a good fighter. He's fight IQ, I do not like it.
Overrated.
Yeah, overrated. And then Wineland, that split decision victory for Wineland, that in my opinion should have been a unanimous decision for Wineland. And it's only a matter of time. Like I said, it's only a matter of time. So, for Michael McDonald, the biggest question I have for him is how he's going to rebound from that loss to Renan Barão. And what I've seen with fighters like Michael McDonald is when they lose something like a title, when they lose the title opportunity, the belt, the title shot there, they lose it. Some guys, they crumble. They just they come back the next fight and they look like nothing. And other guys, they use it as fuel that fuels them and builds up that fire to propel them again to go for that title shot. Mike McDonald's so young. From everything I've seen, the interviews, all the stuff that I've seen on him, the weigh-ins, he looks like he has taken that loss as a positive and is pushing himself up to that next limit. So I expect Michael McDonald to win a decision. But I would not be surprised if he cracks that chin of Brad Pickett. And that sucks to say it because, like I said, he's one of my favorite guys. But it's only a matter of time, and I want to cash in on that time when it comes, and make sure we call it at the right time. So that's why it's not a 4-star pick. It's a 3-star pick. And in the example I'll show you guys will see the difference between a medium to large play and then a small to medium play. So it's a do not parlay. It's just a straight wager, and it's 3 stars. And then last but not least, Dog, what do we have up next? We have California's own, the California kid, Urijah Faber. Now, Urijah Faber currently sits around minus 250, so that's 71% chance of winning. I capped him out at minus 300. That's 75% chance of winning, so very close, very similar. I see him winning a decision, but he could finish. It could be a finish, whether it's a submission or knockout, a TKO. That could definitely happen. The biggest thing with Uriah Faber, I really don't like fights where one guy is on top and the other guy is trying to build himself up by the other guy's loss. So there's plenty of examples. There's so many examples where a guy has nothing to win from beating this guy, and the other guy has everything to gain from beating him. But there are very, very few exceptions. It has to be somebody who's really professional, somebody who loves what they do, somebody who's on a camp, on a team that's on fire. They got Dwayne Bang Ludwig up there. I mean, they're just this team is on fire. And Team Alpha Male. And Uriah Faber, he displayed to me when he fought Ivan Menjivar, UFC 157. They put him up against a guy. Menjivar had everything to gain, and Faber had, what did he have to get out of it? I mean, and that's how some guys would think. That's how losers would think. Well, what do I have to get out of it? Winners, they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to continue winning. I'm going to continue building up my brand. I'm going to continue building up everything that I worked so hard for. Continue winning. And that's Faber's attitude. He wants to win. And so And then he displayed it against Scott Jorgensen, Scotty Jorgensen, when he beat him at the Ultimate Fighter finale, when Uriah Hall got upset by Kevin Gastelum. So, once again, he Scotty had everything to gain off of his name, and what happens? No. Urijah Faber comes through again. So that's what I'm counting on. And once again, it'll be a 3-star play, so it'll be a straight bet. Let's not get too crazy with the parlays on these two picks, but I definitely see Faber having the advantage there, and I expect him to get the decision, if not possibly getting inside the distance. So that recaps the 5 plays. You can rewind the video if you want to listen to the comments again, and you also have them on text. I'll send you guys a text file with all the stuff on it, and then so now we can jump into some other stuff, because I want to talk about some other stuff with you guys and share some other fights and go over them all. Another guy that was on my radar, he almost made the cut. If you guys have followed my predictions, you guys will see that I rank him 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, almost made the cut. So one guy that was really high up on that list, he nearly made it. He nearly made the 3-star, was Mike Browne. Now the reason Mike Browne was up there is because he's healthy again, one, and from everything I've seen, all the interviews he's done, from the weigh-ins, all the training reports and all that stuff, he's in really good shape. He's really focused, and yes, he's up there in age, but he's a wrestler, and he's a strong, compact built wrestler, and he's going up against a guy who he's lanky. Bless his soul, little Super Steve Siler. From the first time I saw him fight in the UFC to where he's at, to the weigh-ins, he could tell on that he's packed on some muscle. Whether he did it naturally or whether he did it, by taking performance enhancers or whatever. But you can tell he's, his build, he's getting a little bit more muscular. But it's still not going to be enough for a guy, who's got that old man muscle. Mike Browne, he's going to wrestle him down. I could easily see Mike Browne grinding out a 3-round decision. And like I said, God bless his soul, Steve Siler, he's improving and he's hungry and he wants to fight. But, a short, compact, stocky guy like that with muscle on top of muscle, he's going to outmuscle this guy, wrestle him to the ground, and, and have his way, in my opinion. But with that being said, when is Mike Browne going to retire? But before that, have his chin cracked, or something happened to where he loses to a younger guy. So if he doesn't lose against Siler, his end of his career is coming up here pretty soon. So that's why it almost made the cut, because I favor the wrestler, short, compact guy. But then again, you never know with these guys getting up there in age, and very similar to like the Brad Pickett fight we talked about. Dog, do you have anything to add to the Mike Browne, Steven Siler match tomorrow night?
If you guys watched the Darren Elkins fight with Steven Siler, it's pretty much exactly how we think the fight's going to go. Steven Siler is a good fighter, but he hasn't shown the potential against a wrestler like Mike Browne. And I think the Darren Elkins fight, shows that.
Yep, that's a perfect example. Perfect example of a wrestler. And now Darren Elkins, he's a bigger, taller guy, but with Mike Browne, it could be even worse for Siler, because he takes him down, grabs him, and just smothers him, takes him down again. So it's just a world of trouble for Siler. But that didn't make the cut, unfortunately. And now we'll go to some other guys that almost made the cut, but then after spending more time on him, it just put it a little bit below almost made the cut. So the first guy I want to talk about, because it is the main event, this is of course something that a lot of people are looking forward to, and we're looking forward to it too, and that is Chael Sonnen. So my pick is Chael Sonnen, but the biggest thing, once again, here is the focus. Chael Sonnen, where is his focus? We've seen him on TV. He's doing a great job on TV, and then his team up in Oregon. The owner had to sell the gym for whatever reason, and now he's training down here with Mark Munoz, which at first looks like a good idea. But, historically, when guys changing camps and they're doing this and they're doing TV, look at Rashad Evans against Little Nog. I mean, just that stands out to me, and that's a do not bet. Now, I do favor Sonnen because he is a wrestler. His wrestling, MMA wrestling is legit. It's unbelievable. It's some of the best. But like I said, where is his focus? He could be towards the end of his career. He says he wants Vanderlei Silva and Vitor Belfort, but he's married. He's getting another paycheck. So, and then Shogun Rua, he's a 5-round beast. He's a 5-round beast.
The Dan Henderson fight.
The Dan Henderson fight. I mean, I can't get that fight out of my head. And then Shogun Rua, dog. If you bring up his record, you'll see that he wins one, he loses one. He wins one, he loses one. He wins one, he loses. So it's almost like
he's due for another win.
And he's due for another win. It almost looks like he knows. And I've seen other fighters do the same thing, where they know, like, all right, if I lose one, I'll still have a job with the UFC, so they can half-ass a camp, go in there. They'll still try to win. They'll still try to do their things, land their submission, land their knockouts, land their decision. But if they don't, they know, okay, you know what? For the next one, I'm really going to bust my ass. And they bust their ass and they win. Then the next one rolls around, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to do this. I'm still going to train and I'm still going to work, but I'm not going to, And then the next one, they go live in the basement like Melvin Guillard, and they train and they go out there and they win. So that to me is just a very dangerous fight. And then the other thing is Chael Sonnen has 5 rounds to get submitted. And that's a problem for this guy, And Shogun Rua, being Brazilian, of course, he's going to have jiu-jitsu, black belt in jiu-jitsu. So he's got those nasty leg locks. So he's going to be looking for it. And Chael Sonnen's going to have to be very careful, very, very careful what he does. So...
But at the same time, we haven't seen Shogun Rua finish a submission in 7 years.
Yeah.
So
then it's like, okay, so we got this opportunity, we got this possibility. So there's a lot of variables. And when we got a lot of variables like that, hey, you know what? There's plenty of fights that are coming up. There's 5 fights to bet on tonight. So why not just go ahead and put a break to it? Put a break to it and just sit back, enjoy it. By then, we'll have cashed out. And it'll be like, all right, let's just sit back and watch this fight, see what Shogun and Chael can show us. So, do you have anything to add to that one, Dog? Anything that stands out to you want to share with our viewers?
Yeah,
with our MMA Dawg family.
This fight would be a lot easier to pick if it was only 3 rounds. But
yes, good point.
Shogun in the 4th and 5th round is
good point. 3 rounds, Chael Sonnen, 3 stars. 3 rounds. And Chael Sonnen, if he didn't have this TV gig he's doing, man, I'd be tempted to. And it was 3 rounds. I'd be tempted to do it 4 stars or 5 stars. But just the position he's in, he lost to Anderson Silva. He lost to John Jones. What does he want to do next? So if I was in his shoes, I would want to fight the middleweight champion. So if it's Weidman, I want to fight Weidman. Or if Anderson gets it again, maybe a trilogy with him. But really, what's his motivation? So. Anything else, Doug?
Yeah, not only has Shogun only had not had a submission in 7 years, but that was the only submission win of his career. So
man,
he can win by TKO. He
can win by TKO,
but he's not John Jones. He's not Anderson Silva. So it's just one of those kind of it could go one way or the other.
Yep. So the part for me that makes it a little man, it just makes me think about Shogun is that Chael Sonnen has to win 25 minutes. And we've seen him slip up before. We've seen him quit. So who's to say we don't... I really don't think we will get the Shogun Rua that we saw in L.A. against Machida.
Brandon
Vera. No. Even
the first time, yeah.
Even before that, when he fought Machida for the first time and the judges robbed him. And then when he knocked out Machida... I don't think we'll see that Shogun. I think that was his peak. But, with this guy, like I said, you never know. He wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one. So that pretty much sums it up. It's just it's up in the air. And it will be tough for Chael to win all 5 rounds. But, he's in a position where he's fighting for 2 bosses. He's fighting for the UFC and Dana White, the Fertitas, and then he's fighting for Fox, who also employs him. So it's like, hey, dude, you're talking. He's talking all the smack. He's doing these interviews and then walking off the film. He's doing over there and then walks off the film. So, he's putting himself up there to where he has to perform. So, but I won't be surprised if Shogun knocks him out or submits him. All right, so coming up next, let's talk about the heavyweights, baby. Let's talk about Alistair Overeem and Travis Browne. Now, here's another fight where there's so many questions up in the air, so many variables with Overeem, TRT, PEDs, testosterone, pro hormones, whatever, all this stuff this guy takes. And, and these guys are heavyweights. So when heavyweights are swinging leather, bam, anything can take. Travis Browne's got knockout power. Overeem's got knockout power. So it's a very dangerous fight for both guys. And with Overeem, what is this thing here? And with Overeem, this performance he showed us last time, where he's dominating those 2 first rounds, and then the third round, he just puts his hands down, just disrespecting his. I mean, just it's like, to me, it could go down as Alistair Overeem, one of the biggest disappointments to come over from Japan, from Strikeforce over to the UFC, and I won't be surprised. Now, with that being said, Overeem does have the advantage in wrestling. If I was Overeem's coach, if I'm in his corner, hey Overeem, we need to get a win here. Let's take this guy down, submit him in the first round. Why even mess around on the feet? Now, if he wants to be on the feet, I think Boss Rutan said it best once. I don't remember how many months ago this was, but it stayed in my mind. And the way Overeem fights, he needs to throw one punch or one kick at a time. Shouldn't be throwing those combinations. He's got enough power behind each one, throws one at a time, and he's just getting pulled in all these different directions. And this guy, he loves to party, and he's got all this electronic dance music, and he's doing all this and all this guy. And then Travis Browne, he's over there with Greg Jackson and John Jones and Frank Mir, and me and my dog have this thing where we now I would say this is true 95% of the time or 90% of the time, but never bet against a Greg Jackson fighter. The guy's game planning. He puts his fighters so that the fighters see the fight and the game plan it in the eyes of the judges and what the opponent's weakness is and what their strengths are. So this guy is a mastermind, a genius of the fight game. And Travis Browne, he's training with these guys, has trained with them in the past. So it's just like, why would I want to bet against that whole team? That whole set. If you go on our website, you'll see we had opportunity to meet Greg Jackson and that guy's just a fight genius. So it just doesn't make any sense. But Overeem does have that big advantage of the wrestling, taking him down, submitting him, and then on the feet he could knock him out too. So it's just the heavyweights, for that one, I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to watch it. But why would I want to have money? Especially when I think Overeem right now is currently sitting around minus 210, minus 200. That's just insanity. So
heavyweight should be very even, I think.
Yeah, I mean heavyweights, anything. I mean we've seen it historically. Anything can happen. Any punch can land. And boom, the fight's over. So it's just one of those fights. Dog, you have anything to add to this particular fight about Browne or Overeem or anything? Or pretty much covered it?
Just pretty much what you said, though. If Overeem is smart, why even stand with Travis Browne? Yeah. Take him down and submit him. Yeah. I mean, he's got
What did Browne do against Chuck Congo, dog?
Nothing. He pretty much.
What was he doing? Grabbing the fence.
He never. he basically lost the fight, and is.
The judges took away the Herb Dean or whatever the referee. The judges took away a point, and it was a draw. It's like this guy was grabbing the fence. And Chuck Congo was, trying to do the right thing and wrestle with him. But it's just one of those situations where I would rather just sit back and enjoy it, and then let's see how that all plays out. Now this next one also, once again, like I told you guys, very stacked card. I'm loving this fight. It is Matt Browne versus Mike Pyle. Now, when this fight was first announced, right away, Browne. I thought Matt Browne. And then once I watched the Matt Browne's most recent fights, I knew why I said that. And then I watched Mike Pyle's most recent fights, and I thought, oh shit, this guy is just crafty. That's a word I can use to describe Mike Pyle. He's a crafty fighter, and he finds a way to win. And he in his fight against Rick Story, he could have quit. You saw that that moment in the fight where he could have quit. He just could have said, you know what, that's it. But he didn't, and he just kept fighting on, and it's controversial or whatever, but still, Mike Pyle on the ground. Mike Pyle is a beast. That guy is a savage on the ground, and Mike Pyle is just one of those guys that even if the UFC wasn't big, he would be fighting. He'd be fighting. He fought Rampage Jackson for his first fight. I still get a kick out of that. Every time I see that, I get such a kick out of that. Rampage Jackson, the big 205-pound man, fighting Mike Pyle, 170-pounder. It's his natural frame, 170 pounds, and fighting this guy. I mean, this guy is just down to fight. And Matt Browne, though, he is down to fight too, and he fights with some really good stand-up guys. He's lacking on the ground, and that's why I can't bet him. Who's to say Mike Pyle doesn't land a submission on Matt Browne? That would not surprise me one bit, and I would rather not bet this fight. Dog, anything to say about this one?
Yeah, Matt Browne has vastly improved his submission offense even on the ground. He hasn't pulled off a submission in a while on the ground, but what I saw in the fight with Mike Swick in the first round, I'm thinking, oh my God, Matt Browne finally goes to the ground, and he's not in a choke. He's got somebody else in a choke, and so until I actually see him getting stuck in a choke and getting out of it, like he did against Seth Brzezinski in the fights before that, we really don't know what to expect if Mike Pyle gets him in that situation, and so I think that's why my dog and I just said, hey, you know what, this is another one of those fights that says, do not bet. Do not bet. But
DNB.
But definitely like both guys. Matt Browne for vastly improving, and Mike Pyle for just being, overall just better than most guys he comes across if he can survive the first round.
Yeah, and with these three fights we just talked about with Matt Browne, Pyle, Overeem, Browne, and Sonnen and Rua, honestly, if any of those underdogs win, I won't be surprised at all. I mean, those three guys have a legitimate shot at winning that fight. So that's why they're do not bets, and there's so many questions, so many variables that could happen, so many things that could happen. So why risk it? In the long run, if you risk these fights, you will end up losing because it's already difficult enough to pick winners, let alone when the fight is so close. It makes it that much more difficult. For the next one, it's Ovince St. Preux, OSP, and he's taking on Cody Donovan, who, this guy, in my opinion, he's not UFC caliber. OSP, totally overhyped by Strikeforce, but he has more upside. So a former football player, really athletic, real big, real muscular, and he, in my opinion, he's got the advantage here. He should be able to control the fight, but once again, it's two guys who, let's say OSP takes down Donovan, and then Donovan's been training nothing but leg submissions or training nothing but arm bars or something, and OSP doesn't strike me from what I've seen as the best guy, the best jiu-jitsu guy. He's powerful and strong and big, and can take somebody down with wrestling, but on the ground, once he starts getting real technical, it could be dangerous for him. And the price tag he's got right now, OSP minus 300, no way, that's insanity. So now I'm not this kind of person that let's go with the underdog. Let's go with the underdog because in the long run you will win every once in a while, but in the long run you will lose. So I'm not going crazy on this one. I have no desire to bet this fight whatsoever. I am interested in seeing what OSP has improved upon. And I wouldn't be surprised if OSP does finish his opponent, but that pretty much sums it up, Dog. What do you have for us on this one?
Yeah, this Donovan guy, I remember in his UFC debut when he knocked out Nick Penner. Nick Penner had Cody Donovan rocked not once but twice, I think. And all it takes is fighting a guy better than Nick Penner, who's obviously not in the UFC anymore. Yeah. And that's all it really takes. Sometimes maybe he might be a OSP. Wasn't too impressed with OSP against Jean Vellante in his UFC debut, but at the same time, it's like he looks and seems like he has more experience against a better opposition than Cody Donovan. So I would like to think that if OSP doesn't finish Cody Donovan, that it's going to be a disappointment, even if he still wins a decision. So that's why we say do not bet.
Yep, that's it right there. And so let's take a look at. There's 3 more fights to go, and these. There's one of these. Well, let's cover them. Let's cover them. Let's talk about them. So we have Ramsey Nijem versus Vick. Now, in this particular fight, Nijem has the grappling advantage. He's got the submissions, and then Vick should have the striking advantage, the standing advantage. So the question, it becomes grappler versus striker. Usually, the grappler will win. But Vick has had this layoff. God knows, has this guy, what kind of improvements has this guy had? Will he be able to stuff the takedown? Will he quit? We saw what Chiesa did to him on The Ultimate Fighter. So I'm leaning towards Nijem. So Nijem is going to be my pick. In a situation where it's a grappler and there's so many variables and questions and stuff going on with these fights, I'll lean towards a grappler. So I expect Nijem to pull the win here, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Vick knocks him out, So, Dog, what do you have to add to this one?
Yeah, James Vick, all I can think about is when he knocked out Darren Cruikshank on The Ultimate Fighter. I can't get that out of my head. And going up against a guy like Ramsey Nijem, who's been knocked out by Tony Ferguson, been knocked out by Miles Jury, I just feel like, oh man, Ramsey Nijem should win the fight. But, at the same time, James Vick could come in there and grind out a decision too, keeping it on the feet, not letting the clinch happen too often. And even if it does let it happen, who's to say he hasn't improved there? Yep. When you're fighting a guy with this big long layoff, you just never know what to expect. Yes. I think a good example would be Yoel Romero in his last fight against Clifford Starks. Comes out there, knocks him out with a flying knee, and nobody saw it coming. Yep. And especially Clifford Starks. And I just feel like
Clifford Starks.
I just feel like this is just one of those fights that is a perfect example of a do not bet. Just sit back and watch it.
And one thing, Dog, thank you for bringing that up, because that brings me to another point I wanted to bring up with you guys tonight, and is that a lot of these guys, they are so young or perhaps maybe not young in age, but young in their MMA career, that they have this opportunity to rapidly improve. So we'll see him step on the octagon, and the next time they step in the octagon 6 months down the line, or a year down the line, or 9 months down the line, they're vastly improved. They're almost like a new fighter. And
Matt Browne.
And with these, that's a good example of somebody who isn't necessarily young, but has improved in their MMA overall, their MMA game. So with this one, we never know. With Nijem and Vick, they could, one guy could rapidly be improving, whereas the other guy, might not, and boom, there goes the upset. So I'm going Nijem. Vick is the underdog right now, but that's the pick there. Now this fight, the more I look at this one and think about this one and watch the video, and just the more I talk about it with my dog, the more I get a little excited, the more I get a little bit more confident in my pick, and almost frisky for a play, although it's not going to make it. And with these particular fights, I'm better off. I've learned this over the years, is not playing it at all, and taking notes on it, making sure I study everything that goes on, but watching it play out. And that's Manny Gamburian versus Cole Miller. Now, this is an interesting stylistic matchup here, because we got Manny Gamburian, compact, short, muscular guy, and then Cole Miller's shot at winning this is by submitting him. So in this particular case, we got the hamburger versus the French fry. Well, Todd loves that analogy.
The hamburger versus the French fry.
And it's
of the featherweights.
Exactly.
Not the heavyweights, the featherweights.
Yeah, so it's like so basically, Gamburian,
the lean hamburger, the lean French fries.
Exactly, the lean, the ripped hamburger and the lean French fry, as opposed to Mark Hunt or Roy Nelson versus Stefan Struve. But with Gamburian, judo and jiu-jitsu, and then Cole Miller, we know he loves using his jiu-jitsu, so it's like, okay. And we know that Gamburian's got heavy hands, and it's just like, there's so many variables, once again, and so many things that could happen here at this particular fight that, do you really want to risk betting your hard-earned money on a fight like this where it's just, it's a do not bet in my opinion. Now, I do lean towards Gamburyan because, like I said, in this particular case, he's going to be, more muscular. It's going to, in my opinion, fit him to his advantage in this particular fight, going up against such a tall, lanky guy. When Gamburyan, I don't think he's ever been submitted. Has Gamburyan ever been submitted? If he has, it might only be like once, right?
No, I don't see here.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Hasn't been submitted. Not saying that he can't be submitted, but
yeah. So it's like, okay, what does history tell us here in his position? Faber Gamburyan. Anything to add to that one, Dog?
Yeah. One thing I want to point out is, Cole Miller, 1, 2, 3. His last 3 losses were by decision, and if you look at his entire record overall, he's only got 2 wins by decision. One of them split. The other one is a win over Leonard Garcia, who every single other guy in the division has beat. So it's like Manny Gamburyan's probably going to win this fight by decision or finish.
The level of opposition. Thanks for bringing that up, Dog. The level of opposition that Gamburyan has faced is much better, much higher.
Yeah.
And I'm almost tempted to pull a trigger on Gamburyan, and I'll probably include him in a couple of Hail Mary parlays, like ones that are you don't expect to hit, but with the percentages that I'm predicting, a lot of them do hit. There was one in Brazil recently that I shared with my dog. I don't put them all up because I don't want to encourage the wrong thing for people to be thinking that, by hitting these Hail Mary 7-leg parlays, 8-leg parlays, 6-leg parlays, that should be their main focus.
And they don't always hit.
That
could be the cost. That could be the one that costs you too.
Yep.
It reminds me of one parlay that I did. I believe it was last year, or the year before. I had an 8-leg parlay paying out over 1,400 to 1 odds, and I hit 7 of them.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember, I don't remember all the guys on the parlay, but I distinctly remember the one guy that cost me was Pascal Kraus against John Hathaway. And we're talking about 1,400 to 1 odds on an 8-leg parlay, and you just got nothing.
So they're fun. They're fun to do, but that shouldn't be your main focus. That's the bottom line.
We're here to make you money.
Fun to do, but that shouldn't be the main focus. And then we have, last but not least, we saved the best for last, the upset of the night.
Yeah,
we got Howard versus Hall. Now, with this particular fight, man, I mean, I could see it going either way. I don't think the odds really reflect the fight. With Uriah Hall, we have I almost want to call him, it's probably mean, but it's like a mental midget. Somebody who has so much going for them in the physical world, big, strong, muscular, fast, just fast twitch, knockout power, but then upstairs, it's just like, man, really? And you can take a look at his last fight, where he fought
Kelvin Gastelum.
Kelvin, and just what is this guy doing? What is he?
Hands down.
Oh, just terrible. So you got that. We got that, right? And then we got the whole hype train behind it. Everybody hyping him the hooch. Oh yeah, he's a bit of
Never
course,
from the bottom.
If you take a guy who's skilled in training, going up against guys who maybe let's give him respect, but still, come on, you put him up against some of these suckers. They're getting knocked out left and right, of course. And then we got a guy in Howard who, in his hometown, motivated as can be. He's not cutting down to 170. He's at 185, where he feels better. He's got more power. He wasn't doing the cut to 170 correctly. So, in my opinion, we're going to see a different fighter. And Hall wants to stand and bang. Now, if he does that, that's exactly what Howard wants. So it's like, what is Hall going to do? Is Hall going to take Howard down? No, he's not going to be able to take him down. So they're going to be standing up. And will I be surprised if Howard knocks out Hall? Nope, I won't be surprised. The only thing I'll be upset about is not wagering on Howard. So I'll probably put him in a couple frisky Hail Mary, parlays, or just maybe bet him inside the distance by knockout.
But nice and small.
Nice and yeah. That's nice and small. Not even worthy of 3 stars. Just something, just have a little something on him to for fun. But the odds, like I said, they don't reflect what I think can happen. But once again, Hall might show us what he showed us before the Kelvin fight, where he just throws a spinning back kick or some devastating knockout, and that wouldn't surprise me either. So that's why it's nothing to jump up and down about. Yeah, but I'm gonna go with the upset here. I'm gonna go with Howard. And Dog, anything to add?
Yeah, the UFC really wants Uriah Hall to succeed, and
Yes,
they're building
they
him
do.
up, and
They do.
the odds makers are building him up based on everything he's done in The Ultimate Fighter, but he's never fought a guy with as much experience, and might I add, UFC experience of John Howard. John Howard, this is his first UFC fight in years since he lost to Matt Browne a couple of years back, but he's had the experience fighting Matt Browne, Thiago Alves, Jake Ellenberger, Daniel Roberts. And so, Uriah Hall should not be that big of a challenge, at least to the odds,
Mm-hmm.
Now, what Uriah Hall needs to do is to prepare for this mentally. But I really feel like, I think it comes down to the young guy versus the old guy. And I don't know if you guys caught the pay-per-view a couple weeks ago where Preux at 40 knocked out Vinny Magalhaes, who was more than a decade younger than him, in just 14 seconds. And he was a heavy favorite. I think he was at least as big as big a favorite as Uriah Hall would be. So there's some of these fights that are a lot closer than the odds makers make it. And if you want to throw out a Hail Mary with something really small, we're not going to tell you not to do it. But don't get caught speeding on the heavy favorite, what was the one we always referred to, the Edson Barboza fight with Jamie Varner?
Jamie Varner.
Don't get caught speeding. Don't get caught speeding.
Yeah, that one was an upset. So with this particular fight, like I said, I could see it going either way. I could see it ending in a knockout, and it's gonna be an exciting one, that's for sure. Get to watch it and enjoy it. So that sums it all up. All right, so we got all the picks, and we'll get them in text form over to you guys who paid for it. So thank you very much. And Dog, do you have anything else to say before we sign off here?
Yeah, this is thank you so much for your guys' support. This goes out to everybody watching this. You guys are gonna see this before the video or before the fights happen, and then after the fight, we're gonna release this video to the world to see, so they can actually see the extra advantage that we're giving out to people now, or that we're selling. And so we just want to thank the supporters, and kind of give a little bit of a taste to the people that kind of just need that extra little push of motivation to kind of say, hey, these guys are really committed. They really want to take it up a notch, and we're ready to see where it goes.
Yep, exactly. So once again, thank you, our MMA Dog family. And we will continue to bring that fire and continue to bring winning picks. And, we're going to be celebrating together on Saturday night. You guys will be, whether you're watching this at home or you're watching it out somewhere or whatever, we'll all be jumping up and down, celebrating when we get our winning picks here. And, we're really looking forward to it. We'll see you guys real soon. We'll talk to you guys real soon. And once again, thank you for the support. We appreciate it. And best of luck.
Bye, guys.
Is you bout it or just loud? My dude just a talk, ain't ready for 5 rounds. He used to be the champ, now we barely last 3 rounds. MMA Dawgs, Hector and Dan, worldwide. Philly to Philippines, fighters tapping out from guillotines. Losing is a nightmare, winning is a damn dream. Damn G, you gon' push a parlay. You should think about tapping, or that arm gon' break. Snap, make money in a flash. Got 3 days off, time to get that cash. Weekends end too quick, make your mind up fast. Place your bets, make you a splash. Pop bottles from your earnings, get trashed. If you in Vegas, it's an automatic blast. If you at home or a bar, it ain't bad. Especially if you need a spot, call your ass money bags. MMA Dawgs say, you got money on them, say. If you know who gon' win, say MMA Dawgs say, you got money on them, say. If you know who gon' win, say MMA Dawgs.